1, 2,
Welcome to the Mental Reps podcast, featuring your host, Brian Wright.
Another thing that took me back was how fucking naked everybody is in the locker room. There's women reporters walking around. There was like an old senior couple who came in and hugged Tim Tebow when he was naked, like completely naked. What? Hey, Timmy, how you doing? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Our guest this episode is host of the Paul Castronovo Show on Big 1059. Paul Castronovo.
Okay, I've heard about this, but this is the first I've ever actually had someone witness it.
Yeah.
And you've seen it in movies and stuff, but it's real, huh?
It's real.
This week's episode is sponsored by the Field Irish Pub and Eatery, a little piece of island in South Florida.
I was walking around taken back because these are like professional athletes. These are not slouches here.
I always wondered, why can't they wait until they shower, clean up, put on a shirt, and walk into another room? Why does it have to be in the friggin' locker room?
As well as elite sanitizing services, keeping South Florida clean and in business.
Part of it's to do with time, because sometimes they just want to get the hell out of there and they figure that's the time when they can come in there and do it, and they don't care. They really don't care, man.
I would have to fluff. I'd have to fluff because I don't.
I know.
Now fade out that fresh as beat and let's get this bitch on the road.
Welcome to Mental Reps Podcast. I'm Brian Wright. I hope you are happy and healthy. Thank you so much for listening, watching, sharing with the friends. Appreciate you. And please go check out new and improved mentalreps.net, giving away 50% of those proceeds from the merch sales to Neighbors for Neighbors, an awesome local nonprofit doing some good things for people down here in need. You can find out more about them on our About page with links to their websites. You can donate or volunteer or whatever. Be a gem and go pick something up at mentalreps.net. You'll be helping us out a lot and also contributing to a great cause. This is also the official launch of our Patreon page for Mental Reps Podcast. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally up. For those of you who don't know, this is just a way you can help support the podcast, help me pay the monthly podcast expenses, which isn't a ton, but you'd be freaking surprised how much that adds up, especially when you're trying to level up on a consistent basis like we are here at good old Mental Reps. But you get a lot in return. I'm trying to give out some really good content, exclusive shit, personalized shout outs on the podcast for the lower tier members, all the way up to like yearly one-on-one interviews to be fully released on all my different platforms, and we can talk about whatever you want, including your business. And that's going to be for the God tier members. I have tiers starting at $3 and up. I'm going to have monthly streamcasts with my mid-tier members. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I get that question a lot. How can we support the podcast? Obviously, getting the merch, which also contributes to Neighbors for Neighbors, is huge. But if you already have all your merch and shit, this is how you do it. And I really appreciate everybody who continues to hop on here with me. We're going to do a lot of fun, exclusive, zany content on there. So I hope you'll come along for the ride. It means the world to me. My guest today is a South Florida radio legend. If you've listened to the radio in South Florida over like the last 30 years, you've heard this man's voice. He's had the biggest radio show in town since the early 90s. To the people who know and love him, listen to him on the air every day. He's like a big part of our lives. You can listen to him on iHeart Radio, weekday mornings, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Big 1059 if you're not from down here. I mean, what can I say, dude? This guy's a huge reason why I'm in radio. I grew up listening to him on ZETA, like a lot of you, followed him over to Big. I got in this business myself and often worked the same hours as him, so I didn't keep up as like an everyday listener for all these years, but I always listen when I can, and he still has great guests on. And he was always cool with me when we run into each other in the halls, gave a young radio dude something to shoot for, which was big for me. And I always liked the way he's helped out people, sharing his platform with people over the years, like local restaurants, comedians, and bands and radio people. No one can deny that. He's had a huge impact on a ton of charitable work as well with his food drives and much more. I know, for the people from down here, they're like, Brian, shut the hell up. But to anyone who isn't from South Florida, you're going to see why this guy's been a staple on our radios for decades. Please enjoy my chat with the big dick of South Florida radio himself, Paul Castronovo. But first, we have live podcasts coming back to the home of our official sponsor. It's South Florida's authentic Irish pub and eatery, The Field, my little slice of Ireland right here in South Florida. Maybe you're bummed you can't fly over to Ireland right now. All this COVID shit, who knows? You're craving that good old Irish experience. Just head on over to Griffin Road. Just head west from I-95, and it's right there on the north side of the road, man. You'll see the huge banyan tree out front. Shade Net Outdoor Bar. They have multiple bars, Guinness, Smithwick's, much more on tap. Their amazing Irish-American cuisine puts them over the top, though. That shepherd's pie, the bangers, the mash, the corned beef, the cabbage, Irish potato soup, but also steaks, chops, fresh seafood, and vegan options. So no excuses for your emaciated fedora-wearing friends. Another clincher, live music Wednesdays through Sundays, lots of Irish music. They also have the best staff you could ask for. They will take care of you. That's a personal guarantee for me. If you're staying in, don't sweat it. Go to thefieldfl.com. Enter code word REPS20 for 20% off your entire online order. Again, thefieldfl.com, code word REPS20. And I have a bunch of stuff planned there at the Field, including live podcasts, live comedy night on 420, which is going to be a lot of fun, as well as a few other events at Township. That's downtown Fort Lauderdale. So keep an eye on the social media pages. At BMW On Air is the handle. My Brian Wright On Air Facebook page in particular. You'll find all the upcoming events and shows on my events page there, so go check it out. Another huge thank you to Elite Sanitizing Services. If you're looking for local sanitizing services here in South Florida, call ESS. They're good people, state licensed, insured, offering local sanitizing services, which kill 99.9% of all bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. They clean anything, like from cars to yachts, planes, your home, your business. It's like you're running them through a big Purell machine. And they're offering free sanitizing to vehicles of all medical professionals. How cool is that? If you have any questions, just want an estimate, give them a call, 24/7-954-663-5836, or go to elitesanitize.com. Elite Sanitizing Services, keeping South Florida safe and in business. All right, the lights haven't turned off yet. That's good. That's a good sign. This guy has no problems keeping his lights on. Without further ado, I think you'll dig my conversation with my old coworker and at one time boss, Paul Castronovo. Paul Castronovo, 105.9. How's it going, Paulie?
Ryan, good to see you, my man.
Looks
like you're in a nightclub. I appreciate that. Hopefully, it's either that or you're in a Waffle House.
You like that? You've never been to the Field Irish Pub?
Oh, do you know what? The manager of the Field is really cool bartender, and he's got one of the greatest voices ever. And he calls our show every now and then. He called on St. Patrick's Day, and we talked about Guinness and everything else and potatoes. And he's been invited me in forever, and no, I have not. Is the short answer.
Oh, yeah, dude. They are the official sponsor of the podcast. And when you're in there, you feel like you're in friggin' Dublin. It's awesome. They're all walking around with their Irish accents. It's great.
Yeah. I have a really bad Irish joke that you can only tell on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, please tell it. Please tell it.
And I forgot exactly how it goes in the beginning, but I guess it's a pickup line.
Okay.
And you say to a girl, how can you tell it? How can you tell? I mean, by the way, you're going to get punched if you do this, but how can you tell that I'm Irish to the girl? And she said, and you say, because my penis is Dublin. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Dude,
joke.
I like that.
But it's
That's
funny.
Not bad. That's not bad. I'm surprised I don't know that one. Being Irish and all.
I got it from the Ace and TJ show in Charlotte. Two of my buddies who told it to me years ago. I told it on the air at 94.9 ZETA on the old Paul and Young Ron show. And
yeah, that's actually where I first heard of you, man. You're a bit of a big deal down here in South Florida for anybody who doesn't know, who's listening from out of town. Because actually, I have listeners from like Brazil and Ireland and all over the place. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
So Paul is pretty much like our Howard Stern down here in South Florida. He's been running the airwaves down here for like 3 decades. You started back in 1990, right? At She?
Well, my first day on the radio was 1984 at K102 in Fort Lauderdale, the Rock of the 80s. I was summarily fired from that job, and then I got hired at WSHE 103.5 shortly thereafter. I worked there for a few years, zipped around to Orlando and Nashville, Birmingham, Alabama. And then in 1990, the Paul and Young Ron show was born on WSHE. Then we went over to ZETA, and Ron and I did 28 years together. And that ended. And I launched the Paul Castronovo Show in 2016. And we went through some bumps and some growing pains, but now the Paul Castronovo Show. Listen, you can hear us on iHeart Radio with Heather and Mike. I think we got a nice little family. We bust each other's chops, but lovingly. And, Heather keeps me in line. Mike's a little odd. It's kind of a fun show. I'm having a good time.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, I have to give you so much credit for being able to navigate these waters for all these years. I mean, it always has been, but especially now, like the radio business is crazy. We have a lot of friends who are off the air right now, lost their jobs. I mean,
hey man, Toast lost his job. It was awful.
Incredibly talented people, man, left and right, losing their damn job. So, I mean, I'm just really impressed you've been able to navigate this. Obviously, you do have a ton of pull down here and such a draw. It makes sense you'd be able to weather the storm, but it hasn't been easy, I'm sure. It hasn't been all rainbows and trotting alpacas.
No, it's a lot of waking up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and trudging my ass down in Miramar and dealing with contract negotiations. And, it's like you're a pro athlete. They question everything you do. And there's a lot of corporate stuff to navigate. But I will tell you, I got some advice years ago in radio, and it was marry your market. Find the market you want to work in and marry it. And I think I did that. I think for the first decade or so, I hosted every friggin' bar gig. I hosted every charity event. I was out and about. And, I did it for 10, maybe 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I got to know the movers and the shakers and became friends with a lot of people. And I didn't really burn any bridges. So I can attribute my longevity to that. Yeah. Now, who knows? I'll probably get canned in 2 weeks, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, yeah, dude, that's the thing. I mean, that's kind of how it's always been in radio, but even worse now. I mean, obviously with this whole fucking pandy, which, by the way, how have you and the fam been doing during this whole thing? How's the family?
Well, I will tell you, bro, I am, in the beginning, I went nuts, trapped indoor. I'm a social butterfly type guy. But I was very lucky in that I live on the water and I got my boat in the backyard. Yeah. And when people couldn't go anywhere, I was on that friggin' boat.
I was going to say, I fucking knew you were out on that boat, trolling, ballyhoo.
Yeah, I mean, and last year the fishing was spectacular in March and April. So, and I had my son home because they threw him out of college. They shut down UF. He didn't get thrown out of college, but they shut everything down and they moved everything to online. So he came home, and hanging out with my boy was the greatest thing ever. That was short lived though. He got sick of us after a couple of months. He's like, I'm gotta get out of here. And they arguing. I was eating and drinking a lot in the beginning, and I started putting on the LBs, and
we all were, weren't we? I mean,
oh God, it was like, I don't drink every day, but when there was nothing to do, I drank every day. And
yeah.
About midway through, my wife was like, so what's this? Where are we going with this? And I go, what do you mean? And then my son's like, yeah, Dad, you're putting on a lot of weight. And I'm like, oh man, that was humiliating. But they were so right. So
yeah, the truth is what makes it hurt so bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially hearing it from the two people that you love most.
Yeah.
And so I got the bike tuned up. I bought a bunch of weights and medicine balls and all the crap that was available online to build a gym, and quit eating, laid off the booze, and months later, 70 pounds down. I'm like, I feel like a new guy. It's awesome.
Damn, dude, 70 pounds. So you got to feel great too, huh?
Dude, I'm shredded and I'm completely hot right now. Chicks check me out. It's unreal.
They're trying to get some of that Paul Castronovo dick, son. Come on, just got to swat him away. I'm married. I'm married.
This is the funniest part. So I changed my profile picture on Facebook and I put a stupid picture up just because it was funny. I thought it was funny. And I heard from this dude that I played high school football with in the friggin' 70s. And I haven't heard from the guy since like a reunion, but he had my number. And he texted me. He's like, hey, bro, saw you on Facebook. Are you okay? He thought I was dying.
Oh, no. Because you lost all the weight?
Yeah, I guess, when you see a guy that's fat and, I didn't go anywhere for a long time. And then I showed up skinny.
Dude, okay, let's talk to that for a second because it's hard in radio to stay fit. I mean, especially when you've got these insane fucking hours, and every other day you got chefs coming in with different food, especially you, dude. I mean, how in the hell
and
do you even partially stay in shape?
And I'm a foodie, so my favorite pastime is restaurants. I own my own wine company, for God's sakes.
Yeah, Casternovo Vineyards.
And I do a feature on the show called Paulie's Picks that features restaurants, and of course they all want to. I'm going to quote Emeril Lagasse. And I was speaking to Emeril one time, and I go, "Can you ever just go out and get a burger?" He goes, "Bro, I go to fucking Denny's and they give me the 3-course tasting menu."
Dude, that's
and I get
so
the same,
true.
And
wow,
I'm not complaining. I get the same treatment. Casternovo shows up and they start throwing, "Oh, you got to try this." And so yes, and then the whole get up at 4:00 in the morning, and then you run out the door, and then you don't eat, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm starving.
Yeah.
You eat a giant sub, or let's order breakfast, and here come the bagels and So yeah, I had a good 25 years of a really bad diet, and I love to drink. I don't have a problem drinking. When I want to lose weight, I shut it down. I didn't have a drink for 4 months. That was it. Didn't even.
I'm the
so
same.
I know.
Way,
by the way, that was my
same
litmus
way.
test. I'm not an alcoholic.
Dude, that is so funny. That's how I judge it as well. It's like I got to get a couple nights off. I drop a couple pounds after that. If I'm not like shaking, I'm like, okay, we're good.
I cannot say that for other people that I've worked with in the past. That the shaking hand thing. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, dude, running into a couple people in the radio industry about 4:30 in the morning. You run into them, you're like, "Hey, dude, are you okay? Are you all right now?"
Yeah. But enough about Ron Brewer.
Dude, that's so funny. I was gonna ask you about that. I asked Toast. I was like, "Have you seen Ron?" He's like, "Nah, man. The last day you guys did your show together at Hard Rock, I think, was last time." So, have you seen or heard from him at all?
All right. So the last day, our final show was in, I think, December 2016. We were at the Hard Rock Live. It was epic. It really was.
I was gonna go too. I wanted to, but I couldn't get out of work.
Marino, actor Steven Bauer, Bert Kreischer showed up. Comedian Doug Benson showed up. All our regular McGill and Billy Corbin and all our Pagano and Dave Lamont, all my buddies. I had friends fly in. It was really, it was weird that it was all my friends that showed up. But
or is it?
Yeah, I don't, maybe not. I'm a social butterfly. Ron was kind of a quiet dude, but we then after the show, we signed autographs for about 2 hours. We had T-shirts and we just autographed them, and everybody was gone. We went into the bathroom to wash up, and at the Improv, I remember saying, "Well, I guess this is it." And I gave him a hug, and he gave me a hug. He goes, "Yeah, we'll talk." And that was 2016, and we haven't spoken. Now, someone asked me on Twitter, "Did you guys have a falling out?" Absolutely not. Not in any way, shape, or form. I've texted him a few times, and I didn't get responses. Now, we share the same agent, and the only response I got, and I can share this, was, "I've moved on from that part of my life." So I can go back to, and it makes me crazy because, if I get one listener complaint, I'll track that person down to make them like me.
Right.
So I don't know what Ron's situation is, and I know a lot of people have asked me about it, but I'm just gonna, I can just go on that.
Right, dude.
That he's a friggin' weirdo, and it's on him.
I was gonna say, because I remember every day, I was working downstairs, and he would come through the back, or in the TTWN entrance, and he'd go up those stairs in the back. Yeah. So every day it was like 5:59, and he'd walk in. And I would see it was like before 10, right after your guys' last break, 9:57, and he's out the door hopping in the Jag. And I'm like, damn, dude, I remember a couple of times, and that's something I was going to talk to you about. I interned for you guys for like 5 minutes, and he was.
I blocked that, by the way. I blocked that from my mind.
What, when I interned for you? Yeah, good call. Yeah, he was he's an interesting dude, man. I don't know what else to say besides that. And
he was listen, he was the greatest straight man in business. I'll give you this, okay? John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora have not talked in 5 years. The Beatles only lasted 10 years. we did 28, and it was two people trapped in a tiny room for 4 hours a day, good and bad. So perhaps he's pulled back and needs a break. I have a feeling that someday we'll sit down and have lunch. If not,
some Casternovo Vineyards wine. I mean,
sure.
Just sit down. Sure.
Listen, we had a good run. I'm hopeful, but and let me clear another thing up. People are like, what happened between you and Toast? I'm like, nothing. Toast is one of my best friends. He's like family. His wife still cuts my hair.
Mm-hmm.
He was a casualty to 2020, and that's the only thing I could say about that. It sucks.
It blows, man.
Yeah, a lot of my friends around the country are not working. I'm lucky that my name is on the show. That's the only thing I can think.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I know. I just interviewed him a couple months ago. I think it was only a few weeks before he got let go. And even then, he was like, "Yeah, who knows? 2020 was just one of those years that I just, like you said, you brought up ZETA. I just don't think something as special and incredible as ZETA is even possible again. I mean, with terrestrial radio, that connection between the DJs and the audience on that level, I know that there are a lot of stations out there still doing their thing, including Big, but ZETA was just like its own thing. Do you want to speak to ZETA a little bit?
I'll say that, where we're at right now, our ratings are higher than they were at ZETA, which is pretty cool, knowing that I've been doing this for that long, and they really are. But what we did at ZETA was unique because we had gatherings of massive, huge events, and that was something that you can't replicate anymore. We had rock concerts like ZETA Fest, the Halloweeny Roast, the Kamana Wanalea Luau, and we brought in huge headlining acts, and it was kind of like this band of brothers that would show up at all these events. And then I would have the social on the intercoastal parties at Shooters, and
Toast and Omelet and Kimba and Julie Guy.
I remember one social on the intercoastal at Steve Stansel, I might have, at Shooters, where we brought in Lisa Lampanelli. We blocked the streets off and put up a stage in the middle of the street. We had the police. Neighbors were complaining. It was epic.
That's rock star shit, man.
Yeah. It's funny. I had women throwing it at me back then, and I was getting young and in a relationship with Gina and getting married. And I always said, damn it, why couldn't I become famous while I was single?
Dude, it's funny. I can only imagine the attention you've gotten. I mean, over the years, I've done a lot of live events, and it's a funny thing that happens. I mean, they get to see you like doing your thing on the microphone, making people laugh, and they're seeing you in your element, man. I mean, they're seeing you do your thing. It's like
there may be an attraction there.
Yeah, there can be an attraction, and it's a weird thing because since then I've been able to kind of more get on the level with like women in general and understand how uncomfortable that level of attraction can be. I mean, obviously it's different for us being larger and whatnot. They're experiencing like an entirely different dynamic, but nonetheless.
Well, I'll tell you, I remember one time I was hosting an event, and this girl was like kind of like leaning on me a little bit, following me around and talking to me a lot, and I'm like, oh God. I'm trying to be nice. And, hey, where are you going after this? I'm like, well, I'm going to go home and chill. And, oh, okay, and anyway, I'm driving on 95. And then there she is next to me doing the roll your window down thing. And I'm like, oh, hey, I just kind of did the wave and then looked ahead like I'm driving. And then I sped up, and so she. And then I got off at my exit at Sample Road and started heading eastbound, and
little Lighthouse Point action there.
Yeah, that's when I lived there. And she came across 3 lanes. Thanks for giving out my address. No, I'm kidding. She, I lived there for 18 years. I loved it. Yeah. She then sped across 3 lanes of traffic and followed me. And I'm like, oh, this chick's she's fucking followed me home. And I'm like, what do I do? So to test it. I went into a cul-de-sac and I did like a drive around thing, and fucking she was right on my ass. So I pulled into the Pompano police station, and she just kept driving.
That's what I always thought that I would do as well. Like if anybody was ever following me, or tell my girl, pull into a
Yeah.
police station if that ever happens, right?
Well, nowadays you got cell phones. You could probably say, "Hey, I'm getting followed by some psycho chick."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's a
Anyway,
good point.
yeah, that was weird. But I
Getting that
also
level of attention.
we still have these killer events. But now that there's friggin' pandemic, I'm not going to throw it until I know everybody's vaccinated, everybody's safe. I'm not going to get back out. You know, I wanted to throw, at the beginning of the pandemic, I said, when this thing's over, I'm going to throw the biggest fucking bash. Maybe we'll go to Bo Campers or something like that. And
oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to one of our Halloween parties at Bo Campers.
Oh, yeah. I went to one of those back in the day, dude. Those things are out of control, bro.
That's the kind of stuff I love to do. Fill people full of alcohol, get on stage, say inappropriate things and make them laugh. You know what's funny, though? Bo Camper, you get Bo Camper drunk, he'll say shit you can't fucking believe.
Oh, dude, you are so right about that. I used to cover the Dolphins back in like 2011, 2012. And I got in some rooms with that guy and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, you got to see him. You got to see him on stage when he says, like, I'm like, hey man, we're going to get canceled now. You can't fucking, but I always say, listen, if you're sensitive, this is not the room for you.
Right.
So I do get annoyed by that element of the cancel culture that they go to a comedy club and they're offended by something a comedian says. What the fuck are you doing in a comedy club?
Exactly.
Come on.
Dude, get the fuck. I could not agree more, man. And I always appreciated that about you. We definitely vibe out. We love our comedians. I put comedy shows on down here in South Florida. And for sure, that was something I always loved about working there was I got to run in some incredible comedians like Tracy Morgan.
You know the story about him getting arrested at our building?
No.
Oh, see, this is why you had me on.
Oh, dude, hit me.
So he was, remember that old, I'll get somebody pregnant.
Yeah. Do karate, get white women pregnant. Yeah.
Okay. So he was in the studio with us doing, he was at the strip clubs all night and they showed up first thing in the morning, hammered. I mean, hammered and just being Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
And one of the girls that worked at one of the other radio stations came in the room because Tracy Morgan was there. And he picked the wrong girl. He came up behind her and he did the whole, I'm going to get somebody pregnant. He grabbed her and she fucking lost it and called the police on him. And they canceled his shows that weekend at the Improv because the cops wanted it. And he got on a plane and flew. He ended up settling with her. I mean, yeah. And he really, honest to God, he didn't do anything. She was claiming that he humped her. He was just being Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, he was just joking.
That was the beginning, though. I was like, whoa, didn't expect that.
Yeah, holy shit.
So, yeah, I don't think he did that anymore with girls.
Yeah, well, that's the thing now, man. I mean, we're living in a different climate, right? And I think that's why I vibe out so hard with comedians. They're just like the last truth tellers that we have on this planet. They don't give a fuck. And like you said, don't like it, change the channel. But I'm going to say what I got to say. And they don't have people controlling what they say out there. It's unfiltered. The people who suck are going to fall off, but the comics who master that are my favorite people on the planet, man. I just like having people like that around me. I could feel comfortable being honest with.
You got friends that are comedians? Any good buddies?
Yeah, Pablo Francisco, Brett Ernst is a buddy of mine.
My boy.
Yeah.
How about Brett Ernst in Karate Kid? The
right?
Cobra
He's killing
Kai.
it on Cobra Kai.
Yeah, well, he got bumped from the second season and they brought him back for the third season. I love it.
Yeah, and he's going to be in the next one too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's okay that I say that, right? Yeah. I think he's going to be in the next one.
Yeah. He, I love Brett. He grew up here. We became friends when he was here. And I'll never forget it. The first time we got together, he goes, let's go grab something to eat. And I'm like, okay, we'll meet at Anthony's Coal Fire. And he calls me, he goes, hey, you don't mind if I bring my mom? I'm like, what the fuck are you bringing your mom for? And he goes, hey, like she's a little closer to your age. I'm like, whoa,
fuck,
dude.
Brett.
No, it turns out his mom was a big fan of mine and she wanted me. I thought it was funny. But
okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, he's good people, man. And he's a mama's boy.
So Sebastian and Maniscalco and Brett Ernst and one other guy came in the studio they were doing the Wild West comedy tour. I think it was Joey.
Yeah, that's right. No, he does the is it Pete?
It wasn't Pete Correale,
Pete
no. Anyway, so I remember Sebastian is this timid, mild-mannered guy, and he wasn't very good on the radio, but I saw his comedy. I'm like, this fucking guy is a genius. Well, 7 nights at Madison Square Garden, the Beacon Theater. I mean, he's
one of the biggest comedians in the world right now,
and starring in movies like The Green Book. And I still hear from him.
And The Irishman and shit, dude. I mean, he's working with
badass,
De Niro.
Right? So last time I spoke to him, I made a nice joke at Brett Ernst's expense, and I can't remember what the joke was, but it was fucking funny. Sebastian spit his coffee out. But I saw that he bought a $30 million house in Beverly Hills. There, I still have his cell phone, but pretty soon I'll be out. Because I see stuff like,
dude, he's a rocket ship, man. He's just like,
I see, like, I saw an interview with Pacino, and Pacino's like, I had dinner with Sebastian Maniscalco. I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm out. Yeah. How do you talk to Casternovo when you're eating with Pacino and De Niro?
Yeah, man. I remember meeting him one morning. I was walking out of the first part of my split shift. Awesome. And he was walking in, I think it was about 9 o'clock to see you. And it was before he hit it big. I mean, he was starting to get a name for himself, but before the big boom. But yeah, man, that's something I for sure always appreciated about you. You always given love to the comedians, and
I'll tell you, I've had a couple of them in my life go from regular guy improv comic trying to make it to stratosphere. Kevin Hart is the other one. Like I'm friends with Kevin Hart from when he was like I think he was 20, a teenager. Wow. Yeah, and he would come in every 6 months, play the Palm Beach Improv or the Miami Improv or the Lauderdale Improv, whatever, and he would kid around with him. We became friendly, exchanged numbers, and right before he blew up, I got word that he was playing Gator Growl at the University of Florida, and there you go. I'm a big Gator fan, and I was going to Gator Growl, and my oldest son was a student at UF, and I'm like, we're gonna go see Kevin Hart. I'm like, you know Kevin Hart? I'm like, well, yeah. So I go, Kevin. I text him. I'm like, I'm coming up. I'm at the studio. Just come backstage, and I'll have a dressing room, like a little tent area. Just ask the guy, and I'll come out. So I get backstage at Gator Growl, and this is a 70,000 person stadium to do comedy. But I had backstage passes. I bring everybody back. My wife, my little son AJ, my older son Nick, and I get up and it says Kevin Hart, and there's this big dude like this, big security, kill you guy, blocking the door. I go, hey, I'm friends with Kevin. Told me to tell you when I got here, and he goes like this, move along. I go, no, I'm friends with Kevin. I'm not just some idiot. I'm backstage. This is my fucking pass.
Yeah.
I'm not just some guy. I'm an old buddy of his. And he gives me the same routine. He goes, Mr. Hart don't want to be disturbed. Whatever BS line he gave me. So I go, wait a minute, it's a fucking tent. I go, Kevin. I yell out, Kevin. Like Home Alone. Kevin.
Kevin.
I go, it's Casternovo. This fucking guy won't. And he goes, Polly. My brother's out there. My white Caucasian brother. My heavy set. And I hear it, and he starts to go, and he runs out and he throws himself into my arms, and I catch him like this. And my son is losing his mind, because they didn't believe.
Yeah,
that's the coolest I ever was to my kid.
That's sick, dude. That's awesome.
So yeah, we got pictures. We kidded around, but right after, all right. So Aziz Ansari was the headliner that night. I felt sorry for Aziz because Kevin Hart opened for him.
Oh, bad idea.
Kevin Hart destroyed a 70,000 person room. Just crushed it.
Dude, it's insane what that guy has become. I mean, but it's not by accident. I mean, he's a grinder. And like you were saying about not burning bridges and being a good person, like that's him to a T.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could tell. I think people could tell, like you could pick up on the fact that he's like an authentic, genuine type of dude.
I finally got him back on the air a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And because I had, he wasn't doing radio. The last thing Kevin Hart needed to do was radio. And somehow we weaseled it out. You got him to call in, and we talked about the old times, and I'm like, so I don't have your cell phone anymore. He goes, yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when you get the ticket to ride, like same as Sebastian, I mean, just like a fucking rocket ship, dude, just flying up. I mean, how do you maintain?
Yeah, you can't keep everybody around.
Yeah, like how do you maintain all those relationships, and how do you trust that the new ones coming in so you like you for who you are and not like the star that you've become?
And I also will say that sometimes I'm tempted to text Sebastian because something will pop into my head, and I do have a friendship, but I don't, because I just don't want to be that guy, you know?
Yep, totally understand that. Understand that. Well, that's probably why you still get along with a lot of these people, right? Because they know that, like, it could be a while and maybe 6 months, a couple years, but when you see each other, you just pick right up where you left off, right?
I will say that my best friend in comedy is Billy Gardel.
Oh yeah, I know Billy. Yeah, I don't know him personally, but I know of his comedy. He's funny.
You should know him. He's a salt of the earth, and his family has spent time with our family in the Keys, and then we went to California and spent some time with them, and we've really,
awesome.
Yeah, he and I have bonded over being heavy for years, and I've lost the weight, and he's so fucking pissed at me right now because I'll just text him a picture of me skinny or a skinny shot of me. Fuck you, Casternovo. We have this thing, but we encourage
he's
each other.
He's tall too, right? I mean, like, he's tall.
He's a big dude. He's like 6'2", yeah.
So yeah, he's like, no, he's got to be pushing. It's got to be 3+ bills, right? I mean, maybe
he's in the 350
even like
range
closer to 4. So,
yeah, listen, you can mock him, but I saw him doing a commercial for some diabetes drug, and like an infomercial one.
Getting
and I
paid, son.
I go, dude, what the fuck are you doing that commercial? He goes, that commercial paid me 7 figures. And I'm like, oh man. So
yeah, dude, you can make that money. Fucking, what about Depends? You need a spokesman.
I have other good friends in comedy. Dom Irera is
love
like family. Lisa Lampanelli is like a sister. I really did bond, and I always felt that comedians added so much to my show. They make it easy. Listen, my job is to kill 4 fucking hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
You bring a comic in that's good.
Yes.
And they can help you in that endeavor.
Yeah, for sure. I remember listening to, I think it was Jim Norton on your show back in the day, and being like, wow, it is incredible, especially the ones who know how to do radio really well, like Jim.
Yeah, and that's
what they can bring to the show and how much easier it makes your job as the host. I mean, you can come in, pepper in some lines while they're doing their thing and going off, like Ron used to, like when you were doing your thing, he just come in with that one liner while you were running the show.
Like a sniper.
Yeah, so you get somebody to come in there who's a really good guest, and you get to be that sniper every once in a while. It's fun. But I wanted to ask you really quick before we get too much further. You said your son's going to UF, right?
Yeah, both of them went. My oldest son went there, and now my youngest son.
By the way, what the hell happened the other day, dude? And what's an Oral Roberts? I mean, what is an Oral Roberts?
Wow, you're killing me.
Damn, Tebow.
Yeah, I like anal Roberts better, but that's just me. Oral Roberts, they were the bracket buster. They took Ohio State down, and we thought we were going to have it made. Our coach kind of blew it, I think.
You guys tried to rest guys this year, right? I mean, it wasn't really your year to begin with, no?
Well, we lost our star player, collapsed on court at the beginning of the year, and how do you recover from that? So
yeah,
get a mulligan, the coach.
That's brutal. I know, man. I've been trying to, like, the Canes. I mean, I got to get this in there. Yeah, dude, just for me and Billy. But yeah, man, the Canes, we can't get this basketball program together. We're always in the NAC tournament, if that, and like we just can't seem to fucking get this.
You're even wrong there. The NIT. That's how bad it is.
See? Yeah, there you go. That's how little we're even in the NIT tournament. What I was thinking is, a friend of mine is a real estate agent, and there's this like NACA thing he was telling me about for like first time home buyers. And that's what
we're trying to kid. We're waiting for football season. That's what basketball does. It just gets us to football.
Dude, I'm telling you, hold up. Go from college to pro. I'm telling you, I'm loving Coach Flores. We got Brian Flores running shit down here.
I love Flores, man. He's a cool dude. Let me tell you something. Let me give you a brief moment that I spent with him to tell you what kind of a real guy he is. I'm chairman of the Miami Dolphin fishing tournament, and he was involved in the tournament, and we had to take a short boat ride to get it from Miami Beach Marina over to where we were having the event. And we're talking, and there was this dude on the boat with us who was a fighter pilot, and he was fascinating us with some of his stories. And the coach looks at me and he goes, you and I shouldn't even be in this fucking conversation. He goes, I talk to guys in jock straps, and you crack jokes on the radio. This guy fucking bombs countries. I mean, this guy puts his life on the line every day. Look what we do. I go, you're so right, man.
Yeah, dude, he's got perspective. It's a little perspective.
A little perspective, yeah. And he's a real person. And I heard from somebody yesterday, and they said, Coach Flores asked about you yesterday. I'm like, what? I'm like, did you tell him I lost weight? Maybe I can play linebacker.
I love it. What do you think of Tua, man? Are you bought in?
Yeah, I'm a fan. I think I watched him play through college. I know how good the kid is. You cannot pin that first season on no spring, coming out of that injury. I mean, I hear that he can whip the ball. The fact that, what's his name, Fitzpatrick says how accurate a passer he is, and he's a winner, and that people gravitate to him, that's the intangible.
Yep.
He's got that. There's something about him that you just love.
Dude, it's funny. You like this. When I was working for WIOD and Wins back in 2011, this was like suck for luck time. And Tebow was playing for the Broncos. They come down here, and I think it was his first official full start. There was a Gator growl. All the Canes fans were pissed because they're having the Gator growl at Joe Robbie.
Guess who the MC was?
Dude, that makes so. Of course you were.
On the field introducing the Gators to all the, and I got booed, and I called Nat Moore is the one who penned me to do that. He goes, Polly, you want to introduce the Gators on the field before the Denver Broncos game? I go, yeah, hell yeah. And then afterwards, I go, they fucking booed me. He goes, yeah, Polly, you didn't think I was going to do that, did you?
Dude, I love that guy. I run into him a few times over the years. How hilarious is he, dude?
He's hilarious.
And very generous. I brought my nephews to a Dolphins camp, and he was sitting there talking to my nephews, like, what kind of position you want to play? You're going to be a football player? Just super cool. Awesome guy. Awesome guy. But yeah, man, Tim Tebow, I mean, it was suck for luck time. At that point, I've been covering sports for a little while. I mean, not a ton, but a good amount of interviews I'd done at that time. And I was just so taken back by this guy. I mean, like you were saying, the intangibles, how you're like drawn to him. And
he's a good dude.
I see him in the locker room. Could not be more impressed with him. I mean, I had an issue with my recorder, and I had to ask him the questions again. I was so green, dude. I was so nervous. Just like, Mr. Tebow, I'm sorry, I gotta ask you the questions again. My recorder. Don't worry about it, dude. It's all good. I mean, he was so cool. Sat with me for a few more minutes and answered a few more questions. Another thing that took me back, and it's just so strange, is like how fucking naked everybody is. And it's like there's women reporters walking around, like the guests walking. They had this older couple, like an elderly couple, walk in and give Tebow like a full hug right there. Like they're like, hey, Timmy, how you doing? I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Okay,
like,
I've heard about this, but this is the first I've ever actually had someone witness it.
Yeah.
And you've seen it in movies and stuff, but it's real, huh?
It's real. Yeah, I was taken back by it, man. I mean, I was walking around just like trying to wrap my head around it. It's like, because these guys are like Adonis looking professional athletes. These are not.
So why can't they wait? Why can't they wait? I always wondered, like, why can't they wait till they shower, clean up, put on a shirt, and walk into another room? Why does it have to be in the friggin' locker room?
I mean, I think it's a couple different reasons. I think one of them is time. They got the bigger guys that go out for the press conferences, but like the smaller dudes, they need to get them when they can get them, and they really don't mind. I mean, they don't mind, dude. They're just walking around. They seem to be like totally fine.
I'd have to fluff because I don't.
I know. And by the way, I saw another QB in particular. He was from a different team who had a micro penis.
Oh.
And this is a guy who's struggling to go from backup to starter. He couldn't really maintain control of the team or get respect from his teammates. So I see him sitting in the corner of the locker room, with his micro penis, and I'm like,
Oh,
maybe that has something to do with why he can't command
dude, you
respect
got to
of
throw
his
the name out.
teammates.
You got to throw the name out there.
I can't. I mean, I'd be happy to tell you off the air, but I don't. I don't think
No, that's disparaging. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, no. No, yeah, man. But just such a strange thing. You walk into the locker room, there's tons of grass and dirt all over the floor.
Why?
Because they're coming off the football field.
Oh, we're out the field. Right. Oh,
Right?
that's weird.
You'd think that, obviously, but I walk in and I'm like, why is all this grass? Oh, yeah, they just came off the football field minutes before. And yeah, I thought you might appreciate that. Tim Tebow
That's
was
nice.
just like the nicest person, dude. I mean, I could not be more impressed by what an impressive young dude he was.
Yeah, I met him once after they won a national championship game. I got a quick picture with him, but I didn't get to talk to him. But yeah, I love the guy. I never had him on the radio. You know, it's funny. We've reached out a lot, but I think they're leery of rock shows, and they should know that I treat them with the utmost in respect. But there's a weird group of haters out there that just they think Tebow's weird for some reason because of his religion. I don't care about that. It's not my cup of tea, but the guy's done nothing wrong and nothing to deserve. You know, hey, look, at the end of the day, he won. He married freaking Miss Universe, dude.
Oh, dude, what a dime piece smoke show she is. And all that talk about whether he was actually a virgin or not, who gives a shit? I think I was sitting at WIOD with Jason Lopez, I think his last name was. He was a Gator fan, if I'm not mistaken. And we just start talking like, there has got to be some skeletons in this guy's closet. There has to be. So we start looking. We have like a newsroom at our disposal, going through back channels, whatever the hell we could find, trying to find anything. And the worst thing that we could find was that he likes to eat ice cream at night sometimes before bed. And I'm like, this.
Yeah. And then he lived with Aaron Hernandez. That was probably
yeah. You kicked it up a couple of notches there from ice cream.
Well, I mean,
Aaron
I think they knew that Aaron Hernandez could potentially be troubled, and they put Tim in with him, thinking he could help him out. But Hernandez, we saw that. This is
true. This is true. Well, dude, I appreciate your time. You've been very generous with it. I just wanted to get a couple more things in there before I let you go. You good on time? Are we okay?
Yeah. Let's go. What do you got?
I normally ask this question at some point during the interview. What's your craziest Hollywood moment? I imagine you're sitting there at a dinner with like Don Shula and Dan Marino, thinking, how the hell did I make this life for myself? So like, what's a moment in your life where you're thinking, damn, I cannot believe this is
I think a lot of it is radio. You know, in radio, getting to meet these people, and in particular, you know, I'm a huge fan of The Godfather. Godfather movie is just my all-time favorite of all time. I don't know, I just love it. I love everything about it, and I always have ever since I was a kid. I even dressed up for Halloween as characters from The Godfather. So we had a scheduled interview with Robert Duvall, and yeah, I played Tom Hagen, arguably one of the greatest actors of all time.
I was listening, by the way. Please continue.
Oh, that's great. So one of the interns comes in. They go, Robert Duvall is fucking sitting out by himself out in the green room, or whatever, the little area that we have, the Jock Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I was playing some commercials. Like, I got to go see. And I walk out, and there he is, like one of my heroes in acting. One of the stars, one of the greatest movie stars of all time. And he's just sitting there alone, having a cup of coffee in a chair. I'm like, Mr. Duvall, go ahead and call me Bobby or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, Bob. Come on in. I'm a big fan, So they bring him in the studio, and, he's just a regular guy. But I had printed up a script from the movie, and I got to read lines from The Godfather with Robert Duvall. The best part is that he didn't remember the lines. And I go, you don't remember the lines? He goes, I understand that The Godfather is like your whole life is based on it, but that was one movie 42 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've had 70 roles since then. I'm like, oh, wow.
Oh, but how fun though, for him too, man. I mean, he got to revisit it, right?
I got to do that. And I think I think that was one of my greatest moments, just just to live that moment.
That's a hell of an answer,
yeah.
Paulie. That is a hell of an
and
answer.
I have gotten friendly with Marino over the years to where we, he and I and Anthony Bruno staggering down Bourbon Street, and my only sober person was my wife. Those are some great memories. We were at Anthony's son's wedding.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And we were like, we couldn't find the hotel. And Gina's like, come on, you drunks, walking us back. So and I watched Dan, everybody in the restaurant and the bar we were at, the Carousel Lounge, Dan Marino, and they all wanted to come over and take pictures and do it. And he was so cool with everybody.
Dude, he will forever be my guy. I mean, he was just the pinnacle. I mean, the icon for any South Florida dude, grew up loving the Dolphins, loving football. I mean, we've been lucky enough to, have met not just a lot of famous people, but really cool, famous people along the way. And I don't really get starstruck that much anymore. I mean, maybe every once in a while, but Danny boy, I mean,
he's intimidating. He's a big guy and he's handsome, and
he's all tan and
he's
shit.
Number 13. I'm in business. I'm in business with him now. We're partners in Taco Craft restaurants. I don't know if you're
the hell out of here. I just went to Taco Craft last week with my girl.
Which one?
Yeah, the one up in Fort Lauderdale off Federal.
Yeah, that's mine.
Is it really?
Hey, I got a little piece. of the action.
Oh, good for you, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm supporting it then.
Thank you. Did you like it?
I did, dude. I did. Really actually, it was the I think it was the carne asada steak taco. Yeah.
Well, if you notice, I got a they named the quesadilla after me.
I didn't notice that. All right, I'm gonna have to go back and check it out.
An Italian. The best part of Taco Craft is you got 4 Italian guys that own the joint and a Mexican chef.
That's fucking hilarious, man. Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, dude, Danny boy, it's my guy. I had Ron McGill episode 50. You're 75, and good. I'm gonna try and get Danny boy to do 100. That's my goal. I've got like 6 months to try and make it happen.
Well, I can't say thank you enough. Oh, well, you had another question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you're good, dude. I mean, yeah, if you have another couple minutes, I've got a segment here. It's kind of like a lightning round with questions. It's you can take as long as you want, but don't overthink it. It's a little something we call mental reps questionnaire.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Why so serious?
What's in the box? What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Answer the question, Claire.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You want answers!
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Is Darth Vader my father?
For real, B? I want answers.
Without a good question, a good answer has no place to go. It's time for the mental reps questionnaire.
All right, Paulie. If you could meet anyone current or historical and spend the day picking their brain, who would it be?
Yeah, I think Letterman.
Letterman. Ooh, that's a good one.
Because what I do as a comedic radio talk show guy, Letterman did it, and no one did it better. It probably be, but then again, there's Howard, and I've never, I've competed against Howard Stern, and
you did,
and I did well.
You did.
And then I replaced him on Big when they ran out of town. So I think Howard would be great. I think I would like to interview him. I think he's done a lot. But David Letterman is the pinnacle for me. It used to be Carson, but Letterman, man.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Except I couldn't get past that fucking beard.
Oh, dude. Yeah, he looks like fucking Long John Silver's right now. I don't know.
But I guess he's out in Montana and he just doesn't give a shit.
Oh, bro, he's probably in there in Galton River and Bozeman, Montana. Yeah. Just good for him. All right, if you had a one round trip ticket in a time machine, when and where would you go?
It's a tie because, that's a tough one. See, when I turned 60, I wanted to go to friggin' Italy, but the pandemic crushed me, and no one went anywhere. And I love Italy, and I'm dreaming. I've been watching that Stanley Tucci Searching for Italy.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that. Okay, Stanley Tucci, I like him.
Stanley Tucci does a show called Searching for Italy. It airs Sunday nights, I think at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and 8 o'clock on CNN. And it's Anthony Bourdain only in Italy, and he's eating his way through Italy. And Stanley Tucci's kind of hip. I think you would really dig it.
All right,
And
cool.
I long for going to Italy, not to eat, but just the people, the scenery, all of it. However, I had this conversation with someone the other day. I grew up surfing. I'm a water guy, and I've never been to Hawaii.
Okay.
I think that might be the place.
When? Because remember, you got a time machine here. You can go anytime, past, present, future.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a one round trip ticket in a time machine.
I didn't get that. I'm sorry. I missed that part of it. I thought it
If
was
you
just
had one
working.
round trip ticket, where would you go, Paul?
Yeah, I just thought you were talking about my vacation. Oh, fuck. Now that's next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably be in Steve Jobs' garage, just hanging around with the guys there
Good call.
and pick up a couple of things, and then buy a little Apple stock. And
Good
I'm
call.
to go.
Good call. If you could create a Woodstock type music festival featuring 5 musical acts from any era, who would they be?
The first act I would put back on stage would be Leonard Skinner at the height of their fame before the plane crash.
Play some
Because
Skinner.
I think that, and I would caution them not to get on that plane.
Oh, that's another good back to the a
Because
little,
I think
time
that
machine action.
I would say, I would believe that if they'd stayed alive, they would have gone on to become not the world's greatest, but the greatest American-born rock band.
Copy that. Can't disagree with
I
that.
also would like to have seen the Allman Brothers live with Dwayne Allman.
Ooh, my pops told me he saw them at the Hollywood Sportatorium back in the day. Yeah, drag racing out there and shit. Did you ever go to the Hollywood Sportatorium?
Every show at the Sportatorium growing up. Yeah.
Okay, so you got 2 there. That's 2.
I never saw Led Zeppelin live, and I'm good friends with Jason Bonham. His father, John Bonham, is arguably the greatest drummer ever.
I met him when he was on your show, or not when he was on your show, and he pulled off in his black Lamborghini. I was like, God damn, that guy's cool.
He left a mark in the parking lot that lasted for years.
Yeah, he did. All right, so that's 3 and 2 more.
Yeah, now we're getting down the line here. Do you know I've never seen Metallica? I'm almost embarrassed to say that.
Oh, Paulie.
Yeah.
You weren't there. I know ZETA. I saw him at the Orange Bowl in '99. I know Toast was there.
I missed the show. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
And I never got to see Paul McCartney, which I would really. I know he's getting old, but and I got to interview my first Beatle this year. I talked to Ringo a month ago.
Oh shit!
Fucking cool as hell.
Oh,
but
no.
I think either seeing the Beatles or just getting to see McCartney would round out my 5, which that's a pretty strong 5, I might add. But
that
I think
is a strong 5.
Skinner's the headliner, but you can't have Skinner the headliner if McCartney's involved.
Yeah, you can have him come on, dude. Get Paulie in there for the Simple Man solo and the little. Oh, dude, come on! I could see them getting on stage together.
To throw it for a loop, 5A, Lyle Lovett and his large band. There's something you don't know about me. I think Lyle Lovett is one of the great singer-songwriters. His big band blues stuff is friggin' fantastic.
Dude, I gotta say, I don't know much of his music, and I've always thought, man, Julia Roberts was on that Lyle Lovett dick, huh? Like she
knew something.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I gotta find out why she was all about that Lyle. Okay, I like that.
Just listen to the album Lyle Lovett and his large band, and that'll be enough.
All right.
That could open up some doors for you. There's a couple of country songs on the album that may throw you, but the big band stuff and the blues stuff is amazing.
What's some wisdom you can share with anyone listening who's trying to pursue their dreams working in radio? Don't do it.
Go into boat sales, because our industry is not the same as it used to be. They are not developing talent. I'm sad for the future of our industry. Yes, you can try podcasting, but I would suggest, if you have any looks, go into TV.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people buying a lot of content right now, and they're paying a lot of money for good quality streaming. So if you have that talent, get on camera. That's what I'm telling my kid. Get on camera, dude.
Yeah, dude. YouTube, man. These people are killing it on YouTube.
They're doing well on YouTube, but with Netflix, Paramount Plus, Discovery Plus, they're all looking for content. They're buying shows, Hulu, you name it. And there's Amazon. There's a billion of them.
You're totally right about that. All right. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, which you always have South Florida's attention every morning, but if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
Taco Craft is located on Federal Highway in Victoria Park and opening soon in Plantation.
Perfect answer, dude. I love it. Hey, thanks so much for coming on, Paulie. I really, really appreciate it. It was great catching up with you, man.
Make sure those people at the field are carrying Papa's Pilar rum down there.
Okay, copy that. And also Casternovo Vineyards, wine, all that good stuff. Gotta make sure.
And I'll be down there for a shepherd's pie when the damn pandemic's over.
I love it. Oh yeah, man. We'll go with Brett.
Deal.
All right, awesome, dude. Thanks again for coming on, Paulie. You feel good about it? You feel like
thoroughly
we got it all
enjoyed it. I had a blast. I did a podcast last week with one of your ex.
Oh, Erica.
Erica, yeah.
How was that?
This has been a blast.
I appreciate you, Paulie. Hey, dude, you're welcome back anytime. You're in the Mental Reps family. Hopefully we'll get to do this again in 6 months or a year or so.
Count me in. I'll get you a Merino.
Oh, dude, I'm going to hold you to that.
Deal.
Thanks, Paulie.
100. See you.
Take it easy.
Hello, this is radio's Paul Castronovo, an aging teen idol, and you're listening to the Mental Reps podcast with Brian Wright. Do me a favor, keep your head on a swivel, you goofball.